You've lived long enough to know that life does not always move in the direction you hoped. Plans change. Bodies change. Loved ones grow older. The world shifts in ways you could never predict. But Epictetus would tell you this: peace begins the moment you stop trying to control what is not yours. For most of your life, you carried burdens that were never fully in your hands. The choices of others, the moods of others, the expectations of society, the uncertainties of tomorrow. You carried them because you had to, because you were responsible, because someone depended on you, because the world would fall apart if you didn't hold everything together. But now, in this later chapter of life, Epictetus invites you to finally set down what was never yours to carry. He believed that human suffering comes not from events, but from the way we struggle against things we cannot shape: illness, aging, other people's decisions, time passing too quickly, time passing too slowly, the behavior of grown children, the misunderstandings that linger, the regrets that return, the days that don't unfold as planned. These, he said, do not belong to you. And because they do not belong to you, you do not need to hold them. What belongs to you is much smaller and much more powerful. Your thoughts, your attitude, your choices, your character, your response, your peace. Epictetus called these the controllables. Everything else he called the externals, things that pass through your life. Like weather, you can observe them, you can prepare for them, but you cannot command them. And this is where freedom begins. Most people spend their lives trying to control the externals, trying to make others behave differently, trying to prevent every disappointment, trying to hold on to youth, to strength, to certainty, to people who are drifting away, to the past that will not return. Epictetus would look at this effort with compassion and say gently, "Let go. You were never meant to manage the universe. Your true power is inward." He believed that even in aging, especially in aging, the mind becomes clearer when it stops fighting battles that cannot be won. He wrote, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Self-mastery doesn't mean force. It means understanding. It means seeing clearly what is yours and what is not. So take a quiet breath. Let your shoulders relax. Feel the years behind you, not as weight, but as wisdom. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer need to convince the world that you are strong. Strength is already in you. It always has been. Epictetus believed that the second half of life is when true calm becomes possible, because only then do we finally recognize how little we need to hold on to. He would ask you, what is truly in your control today? Not yesterday, not tomorrow, just today. Perhaps you cannot control the aches in your body, but you can control the gentleness you bring to yourself. Perhaps you cannot control the choices of your family, but you can control the patience you offer. Perhaps you cannot control the speed of time, but you can control how deeply you live within it. Perhaps you cannot control the world's noise, but you can control what you let enter your mind. Peace begins with that small circle of influence: your thoughts, your responses, your inner life. Epictetus would tell you that peace is not found by making the world quiet, but by making your soul centered. There will always be things that do not unfold the way you hoped. There will always be moments when you wish life had turned differently, but you can choose how you meet those moments, with softness, with clarity, with calm, with perspective. This is the beginning of learning to control only what is yours. And when you do, the heaviness lifts, not all at once, not suddenly, but gradually. The way dawn rises, quietly, gently, honestly. Epictetus believed that no one is powerless as long as they remember where their true power lies. It lies here, within you, in the space between the world and your response to it. In that space is your freedom. When Epictetus spoke about control, he was not trying to narrow your life. He was trying to free it. He believed that most suffering comes from investing your heart in things that were never yours to command. And one of the greatest shifts in later life is realizing that the circle of control was always small, and that this is not a loss, but a relief. For decades, you may have felt responsible for outcomes you could not fully shape: your children's lives, your partner's happiness, your job's demands, your family's struggles, the opinions of others, the unpredictable changes of the world. You carried these with courage. You did what you could. You gave more than you had. You stayed strong in moments when no one knew the weight you held. But Epictetus invites you to finally give yourself permission to step out of these impossible obligations. You are not abandoning anyone. You are returning to yourself. He would say, your task is not to control events, but to control your mind. Your mind is the one place where freedom always remains, even when the body changes, even when circumstances shift, even when the future feels uncertain. Your inner world is still yours to shape. Thoughts arise, but you can choose which ones to follow. Emotions surge, but you can choose how to respond to them. Memories return, but you can choose the meaning you give them. This is true control. Quiet, steady, inward control. Epictetus believed that peace does not come from having a perfect life. It comes from having a practiced mind. And the later years of life offer the perfect environment to practice this kind of calm strength. There is more space, more silence, more perspective, more awareness of what matters and what does not. You have lived long enough to see that many things you once worried about did not deserve the energy they took. You have lived long enough to know that most fears never became reality. You have lived long enough to understand that time softens even the hardest moments and reveals the lessons hidden beneath them. This clarity is a gift one younger people rarely have, and it allows you to live more intentionally than ever before. Epictetus would tell you that every morning you can begin with a simple reflection. What belongs to me today, and what does not? This single question can transform your entire day. If a problem is outside your control, you can stop wrestling with it. If a situation is shaped by others, you can let them walk their path. If a memory brings pain, you can meet it gently and let it pass through you. without grasping. If uncertainty arises, you can breathe and stay rooted in the present moment. The present, Epictetus taught, is the only place where control truly exists. You cannot control yesterday. It has already spoken. You cannot control tomorrow. It has not yet arrived, but you can shape the quality of this moment, the tone of your thoughts, the softness of your heart, the calmness of your breath. And that is enough. He believed that even a life filled with hardship can become light when we stop trying to govern what lies outside our hands. And even a life filled with blessing can become heavy when we cling to it too tightly. Let things come as they will. Let things leave as they must. Your freedom lies in the space between. To Epictetus, true strength was not loud. It was quiet, steady, thoughtful, grounded. He saw strength in the elderly person who walks slowly but sees clearly, in the one who speaks less but understands more, in the one who no longer needs the world's approval to know their worth. He wrote, "No great thing is created suddenly," and the same is true of peace. It rises gradually as you practice letting go of what does not belong to you. Your life has changed, but your inner power remains. And now, with fewer distractions and deeper wisdom, that power can shine more clearly than ever before. You may not control everything around you, but you can always control the intention you bring to your own heart. This is what still belongs to you. This is what remains in your hands. This is where your peace lives. As you move through this stage of life, you may notice that the world feels less predictable than it once did. People you love make choices you cannot steer. Health shifts in ways you cannot reverse. The future feels less certain, and the past feels more vivid. Epictetus understood this more than most. He lived a life filled with difficulty, loss, and circumstances far beyond his control. Yet he believed that the mind, your inner world, can remain untouched, even when everything around you changes. He wrote, "Circumstances do not make a person, they reveal them." Your later years are revealing something in you, a depth that was always there, a resilience formed through decades, a courage shaped by experience, a tenderness earned through hardship. You may not control the direction of the world, but you can always guide the direction of your heart. Epictetus believed that peace is a choice, renewed moment by moment, not a single decision, but a steady practice of returning to what matters. Some mornings, you may wake up feeling the weight of time. Your body reminds you that it is changing. Your mind may race with what-ifs and unanswered questions. You may feel a sense of loss for what once was or what might have been. This is natural. This is human. But Epictetus would encourage you to notice these thoughts without surrendering to them, to treat them as passing visitors, to acknowledge them, and then let them leave. He would say, "Do not say, 'I lost it.' Say instead, 'It returned to where it came from.' Nothing is truly yours except your choices. Relationships change. Loved ones grow distant or busy. Children create their own lives. Friends move on to their own paths. Bodies age. Opportunities fade. Plans dissolve. But none of these define your peace. Your peace comes from how you respond to the movement of life. You can choose to soften instead of harden. You can choose to release instead of cling. You can choose to be gentle with yourself. When the world feels harsh, Epictetus saw gentleness not as weakness, but as wisdom. A wisdom only available to those who have lived enough life to understand what cannot be forced. He believed that older age is a time of refining the soul, of polishing the mind, of learning to live with fewer illusions and clearer priorities. The world may hurry, but you no longer have to. The world may chase, but you no longer need to. The world may demand, but you are free to answer only to what brings peace. You have earned this calm. Epictetus taught that there are two kinds of control. Inner control, your thoughts, your responses, your intentions. Outer control, everything shaped by chance, nature, society, or other people. The wise person, he said, puts their energy only into inner control. The unwise spend their life fighting outer control and wondering why peace never comes. In this chapter of your life, you can shift your focus inward without guilt, without pressure, without apology. You can let go of trying to direct others. You can release the need to fix everything. You can step out of the storms you once stood in because you had to. Now you stand, not in the storm, but beside it, watching it pass, without being shaken by it. Epictetus called this tranquility, a deep, grounded calm that does not depend on circumstances. He believed that older age is the perfect time to cultivate this calm, because the heart is tired of fighting battles that bring no peace. You have nothing left to prove, nothing left to chase, nothing left to win, but you have everything left to understand, everything left to feel, everything left to become. And in the quiet moments, you may notice something new, a strength that does not shout, a wisdom that does not boast, a peace that does not demand. This is the strength of acceptance, the wisdom of letting go, the peace of knowing what still belongs to you. Let the world be as it is. Let others walk their paths. Let life unfold without forcing its pace. You control what you can, and what you can control is enough. There comes a point in life when you begin to understand that peace is not something you chase. It is something you allow. Epictetus believed that when a person finally stops resisting the parts of life they cannot influence, a quiet strength appears, a strength deeper than anything built in earlier years. This strength does not come from physical ability, or speed, or certainty. It comes from clarity, from seeing what is yours and what is not. You may look at your life and feel that too much has changed, that people have drifted, that time has moved too fast, that you no longer recognize your own reflection or your own days. But Epictetus would remind you, you have not lost yourself. You have lost only the illusions that once surrounded you. When the layers fall away, when roles fade, when schedules open, when expectations loosen, the person you really are can begin to breathe again. Maybe for the first time, he believed that the later years are not the ending of life, but the beginning of seeing life clearly. And clarity brings a new kind of freedom. You may begin to understand that the opinions of others do not define you. That disappointment is simply part of being human. That regrets are teachers when met with honesty. That the past cannot be changed, but the meaning you give it is always within your control. You may also discover that moments of stillness are not empty at all. They are full of memory, full of understanding, full of the quiet truths you never had time to hear. Epictetus would say that wisdom grows in the spaces where noise once lived, and your life now contains more space than ever. You can fill that space with reflection, with gratitude, with calm, with the gentle acceptance that everything in your life has brought you here, to a moment where you finally have room to live inwardly. He believed that no matter what has happened in your past, you can still shape the quality of your mind. You can choose patience over frustration, understanding over bitterness, softness over rigidity, calm over worry. These choices may seem small, but they create an inner life that cannot be taken from you. And Epictetus believed that a person who controls their thoughts controls their peace. You may not control the aging of the body, but you can control the kindness you offer it. You may not control the paths your children walk, but you can control the love you give freely, without condition. You may not control the world's pace, but you can control the slowness with which you live your days. You may not control the events of life, but you can control the place you stand within them. This is real power, power that does not disappear with age, power that does not weaken with time, power that grows as everything else softens. Epictetus believed that the wise person learns to live lightly with the world and deeply with themselves. And so he invites you to look at your life not as something closing, but as something opening into awareness, into gentleness, into the strength of peaceful acceptance. There is nothing left that you must force. There is nothing left that you must chase. There is nothing left that you must prove. The world no longer asks for your control. It asks for your presence, and your presence, calm, aware, grounded, is more than enough. Let the world turn as it will. Let the years unfold as they must. Let the past rest where it belongs. You control what you can, and what you can control is enough. Your breath, your thoughts, your inner steadiness, your quiet courage, your willingness to live this moment fully, softly, honestly. This is your strength. This is your freedom. This is your peace. Epictetus would tell you that no matter your age, you are always free to choose the quality of your inner life. And that choice, made gently, made daily, made with awareness, is the most powerful act any human can make. You are here. You are alive. You are capable of deep calm. You can let go of what is not yours. You can hold what remains. You can walk forward with lightness, because peace, even now, is still within your control.